I ask unanimous consent that all members may have 5 legislative days to revise and extend their remarks on the legislation and to insert extraneous material on H.R. 22.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, I yield myself such time as I may consume. Mr. Speaker, I rise today in support of H.R. 22, the Protecting America's Strategic Petroleum Reserve from China Act. America is suffering through the worst energy crisis in decades. President Biden and the Democrats' radical rush to green agenda is making life unaffordable for people all across this country. It's driving record inflation, straining household budgets, and weakening our electric grid. Under President Biden and the Democrats' control of China, gas prices rose to the highest levels in history. Some were forced to pay more than $6 per gallon. Gas prices are still 40% higher today. Diesel prices are up almost $2 a gallon, more than when President Biden took office. The federal government should not be in the business of picking winners and losers, especially when it makes us more dangerously dependent upon China for critical minerals, solar panels, and batteries to produce our own energy and electricity, and strengthens Russia and OPEC's grip on world oil and gas markets. Now, to cover up his failed policies driving our energy and inflation crisis, President Biden drained our nation's strategic petroleum reserve at an alarming rate. America's strategic petroleum reserve, once the world's largest stockpile, has been depleted to the lowest level since 1983. President Biden released an unprecedented 250 million barrels of oil in less than 2 years, more than all former presidents combined. And as we know, much of that oil went to China because our refineries and pipelines are full. It now has nowhere to go here. In April, the Biden administration sold 1 million barrels directly to a state-owned Chinese company. Millions more barrels went to overseas traders who eventually sent it to China. We also know that China is ramping up its purchases of crude oil from Russia and the U.S. to boost its own reserves. China now controls the world's largest government-controlled stockpile of oil, with almost 1 billion barrels, at the expense of American taxpayers and our energy security. America's strategic petroleum reserve is meant for true energy supply disruptions, like those caused by hurricanes and natural disasters, not to help China. Draining our strategic reserves for political purposes and selling portions of it to China is a significant threat to our national security. The administration is not just hurting our own ability to respond to emergencies and national security events. They are actively bolstering the oil reserves of our most dangerous geopolitical adversary, the Chinese Communist Party. This is unacceptable and it must stop. I urge my colleagues to support this bill and prohibit the sale and export of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve crude oil to China. H.R. 22 prevents the Secretary of Energy from selling any products from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to any entity owned under the control or the influence of the CCP, or selling to any other entity that intends to export to China. Enacting H.R. 22, preventing the Biden administration from wasting our strategic reserves, is the first step towards flipping the switch and unleashing American energy production. America has led the world in reducing carbon emissions and promoting innovation by utilizing our abundant, clean, affordable, and reliable energy. We can restore this leadership without sacrificing our energy security or making everyday life unaffordable for people. That starts by enacting smart, workable, all of the above strategies that build on this legacy by lowering cost and emissions across the country. It includes our infrastructure and electricity grid, making it more resilient, unleashing innovation for cleaner natural gas, emissions-free hydropower and nuclear power, and carbon capture technologies. Republicans support a level playing field with a balance of energy sources, but without handing the keys of our energy future over to the Chinese Communist Party. It's time to cut the red tape, expand energy production here at home, modernize our infrastructure, invest in new technologies, and create opportunities for jobs and economic development right here in the United States of America. I look forward to passage of this bill today, and I'm eager to get to work with my colleagues on additional solutions to make energy cleaner, more affordable, and more reliable for all Americans. I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentlelady from Washington reserves. The gentleman from New Jersey is recognized.